Hi, and welcome to another episode of Talking Tech with the Techie Guy. Today we're going to be checking out the Samsung Galaxy Note 4. That is a phablet type of device, recently launched by Samsung around the world. The device measures at 153 by 78.6 by 8.5. It does weigh 176 grams as well. So it is obviously a phablet. Effectively, the device itself, if we just look at at the finishing of the device, just a couple of things to quickly note. I do like the new metal kind of bezel that they have going, aluminum around the device itself. It's going to give it a bit of better protection. Nice that the screen actually doesn't go all the way to the edge, because that's normally where these devices kind of fall and crack. They normally shatter the screen that way. So there is a bit of protection. There's a bit of a thing about the gap between the screen and the bezel, but I mean, realistically, it doesn't look like anything can get in there. No dust is going to get into the actual unit itself. It could be stretching it a bit, but the device itself, it looks very, very solid, very, very well protected, and it's nice that it feels like a nice premium device. If we just look on the back of the device itself, it's still got this kind of faux leather kind of plasticky thingamajiggy going on here, but they have got rid of those stitches, which was available in the Note 3 and the other units, but it still feels very, very premium. I don't know long-term wear and tear on what it will do to the plastic, but kind of in the time that I've had it, haven't managed to really kind of put any major dents into this. Still got the S Pen at the bottom, which kind of comes out of the device. That's what their notes are famous for. They've got quite a cool little curved display at the back here, and that's USB 2.0. Speakers have been moved to the back. It didn't give me too much trouble listening to music or playing games, but I can see some people getting a little bit irritated with. Again, you got your heart, your sensor monitor that's built in here. It's also the ability to take a picture, and you can enable that. The screen itself is a 5.7 inch Quad HD Super AMOLED, measuring at 2560 by 1140. But essentially what that means is when you go into specific images, I mean, these are absolutely beautiful. These are crystal clear, great resolutions. Yeah, I mean, the images really, really pop out of this device. They've really done a great job making it very, very funky indeed. What is very, very cool is the ability for the camera. Let's just look at a couple of other images. These are the stock images, I must add, which have been added to the device. But let's take our own. So let's talk camera. So with the camera itself, here I've got my test subjects here. These are my Phineas and Ferb team, which are going to be subjects. This is actually set at the moment on auto, so if we just leave everything exactly as the default that it came in at, but obviously you can change it. So we're quite familiar now with this interface. All the settings are available at a touch of your hand. You can make your own settings or leave it exactly as they are, or just add in some grid lines here. So if we look at Phineas and Ferb and we just want to take a quick photo, so we can do that. Then we can kind of check out the results. So as you can see, it's really good coloring. You can really get into the layers and layers of details, and just by snapping it away. What is cool is that let's look at something that wasn't in focus, something on the back, one of my arts here. You can still see that it's still in shape, in focus, and even though the coloring is quite kind of white on white, and the background, it does handle the dynamic range quite well. Carrying on along the theme of cameras, if we go back to the camera mode, Unfortunately, the selfie thing is just not dying or going away anytime soon. So Samsung has introduced something called the rear selfie cam. So effectively what that does is that it uses your high-powered rear camera to take your picture. Of course, you can't stare at the screen, there's nothing to look at. So what they have done is that they have added, as you can hear, the tone, which is basically if you move around and you shake the camera left and right, up and down, effectively it will find where your face is in focus, and then it will snap the picture for you. Alright. So if we turn that around, let's see what the result is. Well, okay, and there it is. So here is me behind the Galaxy S5 trying to shoot this video and still being able to take a selfie. I don't know if you can call that a selfie, but anyway. Okay, and let's just see what that came out as. Okay, so once you've managed to take your selfie, obviously you can go back into the normal selfie mode and face forward. Okay, there is me trying to take my selfie, and there is something called a wide selfie. So if you want to take a selfie, you can take a picture of yourself. I'll just do it. And then you can effectively get other people in the picture. Of course, you need to have other people with you to make this thing count, but okay. But effectively, you see how that works by being able to move the camera left and right. You can get a much wider angle and getting more people in the picture. Yeah, okay. Let's click the mode button. Very, very simple, and everything's intuitive. You get a nice menu that tells you what it's going to do. So when you snap your photos, instantly you're able to see it and make your changes. Again, leaving everything on auto, it really does do a nice job and just basically does all the hard work for you. So all those shutter photographers out there should be pretty happy with that kind of response. If you do want to go into more advanced photography, obviously you've got the ability to change the mode and be able to do that. When you talk about the Note 4, you've obviously got to talk about the S Pen. So as you fire that up, you're going to get Air Command here that gives you a couple of options. So just by hovering above the Air Command, you'll be able to see an option called Action Memo, one called Smart Select, Image Clip, and one called Screen Write. So depending on what you want to do, obviously we'll fire each one of them. The one thing I'd like to do is use it to make some notes. So we fire the application up. It is actually quite nice that it feels like a regular pen. And what I mean by that is you can actually rest your palm on the screen. Let's move this a little bit over. You can rest your palm on the screen and then you can still write with no problem. So no problem. Yeah, the only problem is being able to read my own writing later on, but that's a different discussion. So you can actually do that, and it's not going to affect your writing at all. Again, everything is here. Simply click around and be able to do it. And again, what is nice is that with the Note is that everything is explained as you're going along. If we just snap a photo here, again, okay, and it will bring my photo into my note. So what I can now do is I can say, I can obviously enlarge it, reduce it, make it bigger, smaller. But what I can do is actually start writing and say, I want to make a note, make that go away, and say, okay, like this, and effectively I could, from here, I could share that out to any place. I could add additional pages. I can send the whole menu, but I can keep everything back. So I've got a record of what exactly is going on, and I can save it and give it a date and a time. The enhancements in the software that allows you to use it like a regular mouse. So if I want to go into my gallery, and I got a bunch of, let's just say, into a bunch of these images. If I want to select these images, I don't have to go one by one by one by one and select them. I now can hold it down, drag that across, and again, all the images are selected. Okay, it being a phablet type of device, one thing that Samsung has thought of is the ability to handle the phone with one hand. So they've introduced a little panel that you can swipe out from there and be able to have access to certain bits of quick keys. Now, to get that, swipe down, go into your display, and use something called one-hand operation. And this is called a side panel key, and you can enable that or disable that. And the nice thing is you can click on manage keys and you can add a couple of options into your panel. The ones that I've added is something called the ability to reduce the screen. So there you are, I'm left-handed, so I've got it on this side. You are trying to handle the phone with one hand. Obviously it's quite a large device. What you can do is swipe it out and you press the option to reduce the size. And what that does, as you can see, effectively it makes your entire size easily accessible with one hand. I'll move this hand away. I can get to all my apps, all my programs, and I can see absolutely everything all with one hand. If I want to kind of zoom into anything specific, I can just enlarge it and then go back into it. But it is a nice touch where I think on a large phablet, it's actually kind of mandatory to have something like that that can give you the ability to zoom around the phone quickly without having to stop what you're doing with the other hand, hold the device, and then basically start pressing your buttons. So I think that's quite a nice little add-on feature. So nicely thought. So we swipe down, press the settings under display and wallpaper, one hand operation, and you've got to enable the side key panel if you do that. You also got an ability to do one-handed inputs. So if you are wanting to make a phone call and you want just the numbers on one side, you're sort of stretching throughout the entire device, you can just do that as well. So that is a very, very cool little feature. Whilst we're in settings, what I do like about the Note 4 is how everything is kind of labeled and color-coded. So everything is grouped together under specific locations. But if you want to find something, you can click on the search. And if you want to find out, there's everything to do with the screen. Okay, for example. With a device like this, battery is quite important. So Samsung has put into this a 3220 milliamp battery. It is a battery that's accessible via the back. Let me just switch this thing off. So you pull the cover off, and there's your battery. Now this battery is not compatible with the Note 3. It's a different shape, different size, but it is a removable battery. So that is quite useful if you're away for 2 or 3 days and you can't carry a spare battery with you. Just simply put this one out and then put the fully charged battery in here as well. SIM card obviously goes there, micro SD that will go at the top, so it gives you all those extendable storage up to 128 gigabits, not gigabits, 128 gigs of additional storage. It does come with 3 gigs of RAM on board and 32 gigs of internal storage already, so you can expand that by an additional 128. This does still got the same plasticky kind of feel to it, but it does do the job, and quite frankly I prefer to have a nice removable battery. So the last thing I want to show you is the ability to have multiple apps running at the same time on your screen. So with the Samsung, you've got the ability to have apps that you can drag onto your screen and run them simultaneously. So I'll have my Facebook here. At the same time, I want to browse the web, and I can do all of that simultaneously. But so we've seen this on the other Notes, especially on the Note 8 tablets. So that's not new. What is new is that certain of the apps I can run them in smaller mode. So if I take that my Facebook and I just drag that from the top, I can run it into a smaller mode, and everything still effectively functions. if I want to make it even smaller, oh, by the way, I can move this around the screen and position it anywhere, and I could click the button and I can make it even smaller, so it's just a little round chat head that pops up, and I can move that to wherever I want. Now, this doesn't work with every single app, only selected apps. So if I go into my Instagram, for example, I can't get it to do that. It says cannot open application. It cannot open application in pop-up mode. So I can't do it for absolutely every single one, but certain of the apps I'm able to do that. Let me just try with Twitter. Yeah, and Twitter doesn't allow you to do that either. Things like Google Maps, let's give that a bash. Google Maps can do that. So I can view my map on the one side. And the nice thing is that it is still fully functional from the point of view of I can scroll around and I can move around within an app that's been minimized. The gaming experience is like on a device this size.
Welcome to the world of GT Racing 2.
Okay, so let's just give it a bash on racing. Obviously, this device is ideal for that kind of gaming. It's a nice fast processor, great RAM. So let's give that a bash. How clear is that image? Oh, I'm damn good at this thing. Not really. But you can see that the game handles beautifully. I mean, what a great experience. Don't forget, this is coming to you on a screen that's forming another screen. So, and the fact that it translates that well is actually quite impressive. Okay, focus on winning this thing. So that's the quick overview of the Note 4. I need to spend a little bit more time just to get to the bottom, kind of more of the features. There's just so much to uncover, and just when you think you're done, there's a whole bunch more features that creep out at you and go, oh, I wonder what this does, I wonder what that does. So that is it. It's another episode of Talking Tech with the Techie Guy. It's a quick overview of the Note 4. Samsung has done a really, really nice job with this. I've been a fan since the Note 1. So to me, this was another natural choice. And the more I play with it, I'm sure I'll discover more and more features as one does as you explore more of the world of Samsung. So if you liked it, don't forget to subscribe. I came in first. Subscribe, and we'll get you some more information as we get more out of this device. And that's it for the Techie Guy. Thanks for watching.